Test.
Testing, testing.
Slack music, right? Remind you that you forgot to turn off. For those who are coming in, feel free to fill up the blue seats as well. Yeah, don't paise. Get a better view. Have you done your breathing exercise?
How? I got the cue.
Minister of State Low Yen Ling, and our guest of honor, Minister in charge of Smart Nation, Josephine Teo. Please be seated. All right, before we begin with this afternoon's program, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Kenneth, and I'm a product manager for the health tech vertical here at OGP.
And my name is Jackson. I'm the product ops specialist for Isomer. So, Kenneth, do you know last year, right, I was an audience watching the hackathon presentation.
Yeah.
And I got a picture to show. So, I'm not sure if y'all can spot me, but it's pretty obvious. Right, so I hope this year, right, y'all can take a picture of my face instead. And also, just to caveat, we are not your professionals MC, so we try to be funny, just that sometimes we are funny at the wrong time. Right, so this is today's program. There's a total number of 14 product presentations and Q&A in betweens. So after which, we'll present the superlative prizes, which you can see your QR code here that you can scan and vote. And then we'll present the superlative prizes for all the products. And for the folks joining this virtually, you may still continue to visit the Office SG and submit your questions in the form. So now, we would like to invite Mr. Lee Hyong-yi, Director of Open Government Products, to give the opening speech. Mr. Lee Hyong-yi, please. Testing.
Hello, everyone. Is this working, or should I use this?
Use this.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name's Hong, and welcome to the 2023 Annual Hack for Public Good. At the start of every year, our team puts aside all non-critical work. And for the entire month of January, we spread across the public service to work on new projects. The goal here is not just to identify problems, not just to come up with new ideas, but to build, operationalize, and get real solutions into the hands of real people. The teams get almost no instructions. All they get is basically some connections with people they can work with, the space to do their work, and a deadline at the end of the month where they have to present. And so today, we're going to be sharing with you some of the things that we have built in that time. When people think about technology, they usually think about apps and websites. And yeah, we're going to be sharing many of those today. But we've also got a whole bunch of other stuff. We've got anti-scam detection systems. We've got AI language models to help public servants write better papers. And we've even got we've got data repositories for teachers to share the most effective teaching tools with each other. Technology is not just an app on your phone or some code in the cloud. It is about enabling people to do things that they could not do before. A good product is not just about software, but it's about the integrations and the operations around it that let it have a positive impact on people's lives. And so with that, I would like to thank all the partner agencies who have worked with us across this hackathon. You guys have come from domains as wide, from healthcare to the home team to social service agencies. But the one thing in common is that without your expertise and quite frankly, your patience working with us, a lot of what we presented today would not have been possible. So thank you to all the partner agencies who've come to work with us. And that's fundamentally why we're here. Whenever someone joins our team, I ask every last one of them the same question. How do you think Singapore can be better? And a lot of people struggle with that question. After all our country has gone through, it's very tempting to think that, it's very tempting to become cynical and think that this is as good as it gets, That all the problems we have still left are unavoidable, and all the aspirations we have left are unachievable. But year after year, we come back, and we keep finding new opportunities. We keep finding new problems to solve and new solutions to problems that we previously thought were impossible. This is not despite of, but because of how far that we've come, that there is so much further that we can go. So for everyone with us, I hope you take away not just the products that we've built, not just the approaches and strategies we've used to get things deployed, but an understanding of all the opportunities that there are for the country to be better tomorrow than it is today. And so, thank you for coming today. And so we gather today to put aside the world as it is. And so for the next couple hours, imagine the world as it could be. Thank you so much for joining us, and I welcome you once again to the Hack for Public Good.
Thank you very much, Hong. We'll now move on to the second segment of today's program. After the 23rd Hunger Games that we went through the past month, we have selected 14 brave hackathon teams to share with us the results of their month-long effort. Hopefully, at the end of the presentation, you'll get a better appreciation of the products that they've built for public good. So, for the first product today, I'm sure you've all heard of the waves that ChatGPT has been making. Ladies and gentlemen, the first product of the day aims to help public officers tackle the difficult task of writing with ease and speed. Get ready to pair your pencils with some cutting-edge technology. Thank you. Moses, please.
Hey everyone. I don't think Per could have written Hong Yi's speech yet, so awesome. But hi, so we're building Per, a large language model-powered writing assistant for government officers. Some of you got to play with it deployed on a non-AS government laptop outside. I'm glad you guys had fun. But why are we building this? We spend a lot of time writing in government, whether we are crafting policies, managing operations, or communicating with citizens. It's not just how we communicate, but it's how we think in government. And so we think that large language models like GPT-3 can accelerate this knowledge work, and we're building PAIR to help in government. So how does it work? We built PAIR directly into Microsoft Office, where most public officers spend our time. Officers can use it to speed up common editorial tasks, like summarization of news or citizen queries, getting the gist of long documents in seconds. It can also help with research and discovery, brainstorming. If you were writing a paper about an experimental tech unit in government, simply hit +++ in Microsoft Office and it comes up with useful ways to attract talent. But it can go beyond creativity to using prior work. If you're writing an email to a citizen, PAIR can help you make sure that your first draft is consistent with your agency's prior communications. We are working on additional tooling to allow PAIR to search through arbitrary documents, summarize what it learns, and cite its references so that officers can use it as a further jumping-off point for research. Overall, there is enormous opportunity to save on the hours we spend trawling the web and internal document stores, retrieve relevant information, and contextualize it for officers' needs. Now, we've built PAIR for writing, but it can actually help with any natural language task. So over here, we're using PAIR to redact the contract of PII. Simply give it a couple of examples of personally identifiable information, paste in your contract, and it carries out a fairly complex redaction task flawlessly. Well, suffice to say that we are excited to see what officers do with these tools. And we're doing everything we can to ease adoption in core workflows. This requires large language models within easy reach of every officer, equipped to reason over public sector knowledge, and that can only be done with a strong foundation of security. That is why today PAIR is built on the government commercial cloud, integrated with Azure OpenAI, Microsoft's enterprise large language model offering. And for PAIR, Microsoft has committed to turning off logging of all requests and responses. Hence, SNDGO is working to clear PAIR for use up to restricted data, opening up more use cases for officers compared to off-the-shelf alternatives. We're building PAIR as a large language model agnostic platform and are onboarding other providers that have even more secure deployment options. So let me wrap up. Today, we're building PAIR in partnership with MAS, SNDGO, MTI, and AGC. But we look forward to making this more widely available to more officers and deepening its capabilities in specific domains. If you're interested in working with us, please reach out. Thanks.
Thank you, Moses. So our next product team wants to protect Singapore residents from the dangers of the web. Safeguard is a mobile application that allows you to check the authenticity of a website with just a few taps and report malicious ones with ease. Ashraf, please.
Test. Good afternoon, Minister, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ashraf, and I'm from the Anti-Scam Command. So I'm happy to be standing here to present to you Safeguard. So let's kick off with some statistics. In 2020, there are about 500 websites that were deemed to be scams and were blocked. But in 2021, perhaps maybe the phishing scam industry probably had some revolutionary teachings or from somewhere that the numbers just burst. There was a surge in it. So now, therefore, SPF has also recently released data to say that phishing scam is actually the #1 scam typology in Singapore. And unfortunately, in late December 2021, nearer to home, we are all being attacked by the OCBC phishing scams. On a more worldwide situation, the anti-phishing work group has reported that for Q2 2022, there were 1.09 million unique phishing websites. The guy that closed your mouth, it is really 1.09 million unique phishing websites that were discovered. Now that number is scary. So now I have behind me are two very, very identical websites, and with a very few seconds, it's very hard for you to know which one is malicious and which is not. Furthermore, for this, it's only the URL, and that's it. So therefore, our team wanted to ease the process and want to make it easy for everyone to see how you can find out whether this website is a scam. So Safeguard allows you to check and also to report links that you are being exposed to. So firstly, Right, and instantaneously, Safeguard will tell you that the link that you have visited, is it a scam or not? And it's a matter of seconds. I would say even less than 2 seconds, even 1 second even at times. And this is only possible with such sophisticated and very niche, I would say, evaluation tools that runs in the back. Alternatively, users will also be able to report any links that you are exposed to and to see in case that these links end up become malicious. Now, ain't that cute? Now, I'm not talking about a scam message. I hate that. That is why I have a lot of work to do. So for this, but then it's timely. So let's just take a look at how scam safeguard will work. So when you receive such SMS, you click on it, that you are exposed to a link. To check whether this is malicious or not, simply click on the icon of share and safeguard, and instantaneously, they will tell you that this is a scam website. So stay away from it. Simple. Oh yes, and one more thing. Safeguard browser extension. When you visit banks or government official websites, you will want to know that that website you have visited is legitimate before you even try to transact or complete your transactions. So the team has designed a very clear blue banner, as you can see at the top of this photo, to give you the kind of confidence that, hey, this website I visit is clearly legitimate, and I'm confident and I'm safe to complete whatever that I need to do. Not just that, Safeguard will block that website and prevent you from accessing that website the moment within a few seconds that you were exposed to this link. And there you have it.
Right.
Safeguard. Sorry. Safeguard. Site evaluation, a web browser extension, and this is our strong resistance that we put out in this tough fight against scams. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashraf.
Wow, Ashraf, you know, I've received 5 scam LTA SMSs in the last 1 month. All right, next up, put on your wizarding robes and get ready for the magic of the sorting cap. Sorting cap is designed to sort through the government grant applications with lightning speed. Say goodbye to the wait times of yesteryear and hello to a future where eligibility is determined in the flick of a wand. Charmaine, please.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm representing the sorting cap team today. And we all know that there are many government schemes and grants out there with different eligibilities set up to help our citizens. However, applications today takes 4 to 6 weeks to be processed because there's just so many documents per applicant that each officer has to go through manually. So the difference between a day, a week, and a month for people who need financial support is going to make a very big difference in their lives. So our team here, we put on our thinking caps and we thought to ourselves, how can we shorten application time to just 1 minute? Imagine for a scheme there's going to be hundreds, thousands, or even millions of applicants. Wouldn't it be great if there's a magical sorting cap that can just tell you whether each applicant is going to be eligible or not, and if they are eligible, which group do they belong to? That is what we hope to achieve with Sorting Cap. With Sorting Cap, we hope that citizens who need help can apply and receive support in just 1 minute. So let us take you through how an applicant can perhaps apply for their NEA climate-friendly vouchers using Sorting Cap. So for this scheme particularly, applicants who live in 1, 2, and 3-room HDB flats would be eligible. So all the applicant has to do is log in with SingPass, allow Sorting Cap to retrieve the information that is needed to determine whether he's eligible or not. And in this case, for this applicant, Benjamin, since he lives in a 1-room HDB flat, Sorting Cap is able to sort him into the eligible group, and he will immediately be able to receive his vouchers. So just imagine this for every other government grants and schemes out there. Applicants will no longer have to wait weeks or months for their applications to be processed. So how would an agency officer set up their own scheme on Sorting Hat? It's actually just as simple. For an agency officer, they can go on to Sorting Cap and create their own scheme and move on to define the eligibility criteria for their scheme. So these conditions that you are able to choose from are what's already available and retrievable for each individual. So things like housing type, citizenship status, nationality, date of birth. And in this case, for the NEA officer, he would select that the housing type is either 1-room, 2-room, or 3-room HDB flats. And that's all. You connect it with your existing application system, and you let Sorting Cap do the rest of the work. This can also be easily extended to other schemes. For example, a healthcare officer can create a scheme and define the Pioneer and Merdeka generation on it, and use Sorting Cap to differentiate the subsidies that they are able to receive at healthcare clinics. In the long term, we see Sorting Cap as a tool to push for a more data-driven government, where every single policy officer is able to have a good understanding of what data is available, and also push for, identify gaps and push for the digitization of more data sets. With Sorting Cap, there should be no more wait time in the future for government support, and you can simply scan a QR code for receiving your government grants. So yeah, we'll get your eligibility sorted. So look out for any of us in the green caps, or you can also write in to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Charmaine. So next up, we have Backyard Heritage. So Backyard Heritage offers a new way to explore local history through a Telegram chatbot. So get ready to step into the past, discover heritage in your backyard, and connect with your community. So with Backyard Heritage, self-discovery and community connections are just a chat away. Veena and Shannon, please.
Yeah, hi everyone. We are the Backyard Heritage team, and we're looking at how we can enhance the citizens' experience in discovering Singapore's history and heritage. So we actually learned that there are many heritage trails in Singapore, but most people actually don't know about it, and very few can connect to it in a meaningful way, even though that there's very rich heritage in Singapore. So given that Toa Payoh is actually one of the older neighborhoods around, we were looking to explore how can we enhance the Toa Payoh Heritage Trail experience. So with that, we came out with a solution that is dynamic, personalized, and has human interest stories. So this was done over a few iterations and user testing sessions. So we actually built a Telegram bot prototype, bringing heritage to life through the use of photos and videos with bite-sized fun facts, and also with nearby food recommendations and resident stories. So introducing the Backyard Heritage Telegram bot, feel free to actually scan the QR code to try it out for yourself and watch our video to find out more.
The bot gave me like a more dynamic experience, especially with the videos and the very short write-up. Without, you will be going around on my own.
Having the videos was good. This app has a lot of potential. Definitely very useful. It definitely makes the experience so much richer.
In terms of what's next, we just want to expand it to not just the 23 other heritage trails, but also to other points and events of interest. And we really want to follow two basic principles: make it easy and make it interesting. When we say easy, we don't want people to learn how to use a whole new application. We don't want them to put effort into this. So we're just going to try to be in places and platforms that people are already using. And of course, the second thing is make it interesting. We've been working with our partner agencies, NLB and NHB, and they have such a rich, they have so much content, and we just want to bring this content to life with human stories. Thank you. Try our bot.
Thank you, Veena. So thank you, Veena and Shannon. All right, we have now concluded the first segment of the presentation, and we will now move on to the Q&A segment. So for those watching the presentations virtually, you can submit your questions through the form, which will be answered by the respective hackathon team after today. So can I have the team to come back up on stage, please?
All right, while the teams are coming up for the audience in the auditorium, don't be shy. Raise your hand if you have any questions. We have two people with mics on the sides. They'll bring you the microphone if you have any questions. And the list of groups are on the screen, so if you have any questions, for any of the groups, feel free to just raise your hand.
Does anyone have any questions? Sorry, who? I am not prepared for this awkward silence. Can someone just raise a hand?
Does the Telegram bot have geolocation so they can give a specific heritage trail based on where the user is at?
No, so what we do have is a very simple map location pin, which will, if you click on it, you get directions to go there from wherever you are.
Thanks.
Maybe I have one question. Oh, Hong.
For the sorting hat team, like, what are some of the criteria that people often want to sort schemes by that are currently not available?
I think one of the main criteria that people are looking at is income levels, particularly household income, because a lot of times when you want to help people, usually you think about who needs help the most. So income might be one of the data set that is going to be most commonly required. But for now, there's currently, one of our challenges also is getting availability to this data, because you can provide consent to your own individual data, but not on a household level. So I think we're just trying to think around like workarounds for this, on who owns the data and how we can get around the policy for it. So one of it is defining tiers for income, and what basically the data source can return you is just true or false, so that you don't actually know the point value of like the household income, but you just know whether it's true. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Charmin. Oh, we have another question.
Hi, just wanted. Hi, my name is Ying. I'm from Tan Tock Seng Hospital. Does the sorting cap, functionality replace means testing that goes on in the hospital, or is that what it's meant to do?
I think it can potentially be complementary. So maybe now I think the current way to kind of differentiate like your CHAS or your Pioneer generation is you are issuing physical cards, right? So perhaps with sorting cap, how it might look like is that they just need to log in with their SingPass, and the healthcare officer would immediately know whether they are eligible for these subsidies. Yeah, so definitely possible down the road.
Okay.
We'll take one more question.
Hi, this is a question for paper, so I think it's great piece of work. Does your model that you work with, are you planning to do it beyond just text? Like you're going with OpenAI, right? So there are actually other things you can do with OpenAI, right? Like DALL-E API, for example. Are you planning to do pictures and stuff like that? So that's number one. Number two is, are you actually using fine-tuned data, or are you actually using the generic model itself?
Well, that's an excellent question, and you definitely know your stuff here. So I think there are two questions. Are we going to move beyond text, right? And two, are we using fine-tuned data? I think for at least the next half a year or so, we will stay with text. There's a lot of things to solve there. How do we get the right knowledge piped into the right system at the right time? So we'll tackle that first, but you're indeed right that there's a lot that these generative models can do. To the second question, our approach for this, as I mentioned on the last slide, we're going to try to make this available to as many officers as possible in a secure way. And from there, once we discover their use cases, we will indeed use fine-tuned data from those interactions to get superhuman performance on these tasks. But the first thing to know, to figure out is what are these use cases? And that's why we're going with a big model to begin with. Yeah, thanks.
Cool. All right, thank you so much for answering the questions, and thanks to the audience for being so participative. All right, thank you. Maybe if Pear comes in before budget next week, the speechwriters can have something they can use. Just kidding, just kidding. All right, next up, we have prepared a very nice video giving you a picture of what the past month was like for everyone here at OGP and our partners at the different agencies. All right, video please.
We came as users ourselves and explored the trail. One of the things that was clearly missing are the human stories behind this neighborhood. It's one of Singapore's oldest HDB estates, and people have been here across many momentous occasions. The Southeast Asia Games were held here, Queen Elizabeth visited, there were wedding photographs taken here. So who are these people then who were actually part of this history? So we wanted to find them, and the entire team has spent a lot of time unearthing those stories, speaking to the people who lived that, and filming those stories as content for the board.
The experience of the whole prototype testing was very interesting because we get to go onto the ground and test out the prototype itself at actual sites, and speaking with the participants themselves, we really get the feedback directly from them to find out what are people actually looking out for.
The team of firefighters have to inspect the vehicle and the equipment every single day. They do their check simultaneously, but there is only one paper form report. They have to pass it around, and paper in a firefighting truck environment is just a terrible medium.
Now with the app, we actually can do have more than one person concurrently use to actually input the data. So I think that will actually help to speed up the process. One fire engine has more than 100 over equipment. The first time that AJ and his team actually touched base with us, it's really been very exciting. So they actually have spent a lot of time doing the user research.
We made some assumption on how the vehicle inspection go. It's only when we came to the station that we realized that these assumptions were all wrong. And our early prototype was just completely useless. From software development, working closely with your user is what you need to do.
So DIS came and pitched to us, telling us their problems with searching images from a pool of different images that's stored in many different kind of places. We are actually extending one of OGP's current product, and it's called Vault. And Vault helps you manage, share, and collaborate on structured data. So we're going to extend that, and you can upload, store, label your images, and also search them effectively.
I remember the engineers asked a very simple question to the users. How do you know what tags to put to an image? Very often our work is very deeply ingrained in us. It comes in the form of processes as well as instincts that we do in the day-to-day. So when you try to ask actually why you're doing what you're doing and how you do it, it actually challenges the users to really think harder and to really understand what you're trying to achieve.
MES officers deal with a lot of information, and we have to write a lot of put-ups and reports based on fast-moving events as well as shifts in policy focus. So when we heard of this opportunity to work with OGP on a tool that could potentially help officers to draft their put-ups and reports faster and to be able to find and harness information more swiftly, we're keen to take this up.
Large language models are an emerging technology. It's on us to learn about these and make them useful in the government context. There may be commercial products out there, but I think we're differentiating a couple of ways. We're going to make it extremely easy for every public officer to use these models directly in their core workflows that require some integration work with government systems. We're going to give these models the knowledge required for them to operate it effectively in the public sector context. And last but not least, we're going to make sure that it's a secure and reliable way for officers to interact with these models, which may not be possible through off-the-shelf alternatives.
Wow, that's a lot of product in a single video. All right, next up, actually next slide please. Next up, buckle up for a faster journey on the information highway. Our next team here is to show you the road to a smoother documentation collection process. Leonard, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Leonard. I'm here to talk about highway. So citizens have to frequently submit documents to various government agencies. And the problem statement that we found was that it was very ineffective for public officers to collect the documents at a certain scale. And what do we mean? Because once it reaches a certain scale, it becomes an organizational task for the public officer. They either have to create tons of folders and then label them everyone, or they have to store maybe thousands of emails from different entries and different things. So our proposed solution is to allow the public officers to request documents from the MOPs using a secure link, which will then categorize and organize all the individual files and cases. So how does it work? The officer can easily log into Highway and create a campaign, which will then group all their collections of responses. And then they can create a customized link specifying a unique identifier, a name, specifying how long this link will take, and give some instructions to the members of public. They will then generate a link which can then be shared to the member of public. After that, the MOP can open up the link, see the instructions, and upload the required documents as necessary. If they are on their mobile device, they can also use their mobile camera to scan the document and attach it as well. So once they've submitted it, it will be informed, the public officer will be informed. And they can go to the admin screen and see the files that are uploaded. From there, they can easily download any of the files or even modify the instructions. So maybe they forgot one document to submit. They can easily update the instructions and then resend the link to the member of public. The member of public can then reopen the same link, see the new updated instructions, and amend their entries. They could either upload a new document, or they can remove an existing one and replace it with a new one. Once that is done, all the submissions will appear on the public officer's admin dashboard. Everybody has a single folder. All the documents are categorized based on that, and he or she can add collaborators so that not only he or she gets access to these files, but a team can get access to these files. Once this is all done, you can see that all the submissions are all categorized by individual entries and also sorted and folderized by campaigns. So what's next for Highway? We're going to do three things. One is to complete our collaborator function that you saw earlier. We will want to also allow MOPs to comment back to the public officers, just in case there's any clarifications that need to be done. We also want to enable APIs so that any other system will be able to create links off Highway and get their files submitted to their internal systems from Highway. Once we have all those three things in place, we intend to try it with one of our partnering agencies. And that's all from Highway. Thank you.
Thank you, Leonard. So next up, we are introducing a platform that empowers administrators to effortlessly keep track of the thousands of certificates for healthcare staff. With CertSG, training and assessments are a breeze, ensuring that doctors and professionals never miss a beat in their quest to serve their patients. CertSG, please.
Hey, I need to administer station now. My patient's waiting.
Hey, doctor, your cert valid or not?
I thought so, leh.
You think I thought? Who confirm?
Ay,
Hey,
alamak!
go and redo your module.
Alamak!
If only certs were easier to manage.
And this is why we need CertSG, all your certs on one platform. So I've seen just now that there are some confusions when doctors find out that their certs are not valid for practice, and this we found out is part of the overall workflow that doctors have to go through every time to get their cert certified. So they need to go through a training assessment and then get certified, and subsequently they have to track their certs for expiry dates and then receive reminders as and when. So for doctors, their pain points currently we found out is that there's no central database for them to manage their certs. So they have to manage all their certs on their own and present them every time they rotate departments for practice. On the admins, the admins have to track their certs very manually via an Excel sheet, and they have to manually remind the doctors via phone calls or SMSs when the time to renew is up. So we've found out that in terms of resources to use this costs about 50,000 man-hours and about $1.5 million annually. We also looked at market solutions to see if there's anything that currently serves this purpose, and we found out that while there are solutions in the market, they do not directly track or manage certs and remind the users of expiring certs. So at CertSG, our vision is to create a centralized platform to help the doctors and admins alleviate this admin burden. And CertSG will target the later part of the workflow, which includes tracking and reminders. On the admin's end, this means that they can manage all certs and also have the platform send automatic reminders to the doctors. And for doctors, they can view their certs and also manage and track expiry dates. So Gerald will now bring you through the prototype.
So how CertSG works is that when admins first log into the platform, they're able to see a certificate dashboard of all the registered certificates on the platform. So let's say an admin wants to create a new certificate, right? They click on the button above. They can add key details like certificate name, validity period, issuing department, for example. Then if they click on next step, they can select the method of issue as well. Do they want the certs to be manually issued by admins, or do they want to link it to other platforms to be automatically issued? Admins can also create and edit a template of the certificate that doctors can share and download. So if admins click into the details of one certificate, for example, they're able to see key information like description of the certificates and which admins are managing it. If they click into the holder tab at the site, they can see the list of doctors that have been certified under this certificate, as well as add and certify new doctors under this certificate. And lastly, if they click on the settings, they are able to set auto reminders to doctors to give them notifications to recertify or to certify for a specific certificate that they might need. Admins also have view of all the doctors registered on our platform, and if they click into a specific doctor, they can see the different types of certificates that they have attained. So this is just a quick snippet of what we have built. We have talked to many stakeholders across like hospitals such as SingHealth and Tan Tock Seng, and we first want to launch our product throughout the healthcare sector and eventually scale across other areas like trained professions. So thank you for listening to our pitch. Feel free to scan here to try our prototype or to give us feedback. You can reach out to our team to learn more as well. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for the presentation. Next up, if you're someone who cares about healthcare affordability against the backdrop of Singapore's aging population, then the next product is for you. Medipay is a product that puts the power of cost transparency in the hands of patients. Their dream is simple, to empower patients to access the care they deserve without the fear of getting overcharged. Without further ado, let us welcome Wan Ling, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Wan Ling and I'm part of the Medipay team. So how many of you have ever been shocked by your medical bill? Often patients don't know how much a medical service at the GP clinic costs, and it's also difficult for them to figure out exactly how much their subsidies are, as eligibility criteria can be quite complicated. They might get overcharged because they don't know, they're confused about how much their subsidy, Medisave, or insurance covers. And they might feel afraid to go for critical preventive care services, leading to worsening health issues down the line. This is what some patients have said. Told it's Medisave deductible, but then not at this clinic. They refused to entertain as I wasn't carrying the CHAS card. What if we put the information in the hands of the patient? This is our vision, to help patients pay as little as possible by providing them with full cost transparency for all medical services in Singapore. Introducing Medipay. Medipay will help to answer these 4 questions. How much government subsidies will I get? How much will my insurance cover? How much can I pay out of Medisave? And how much do I have to pay in cash? So let's see how Medipay will work. A patient first books a health appointment and gets a confirmation SMS which contains the Medipay link. Clicking on it brings them to the site where they can see the total price cap for the medical service, the total government subsidy, as well as a scheme that they are on, in this case, CHAS Blue. What we see here looks simple, but behind the scenes, we're actually pulling from many different systems and making complex calculations on their behalf. The user can also look at different payment methods. So for example, here we have Pay at Clinic and Medisave. And upon selecting one, they will be brought to the final bill details page. They can also choose to book more medical services. And upon signing in with SingPass, they'll see the cost information for those medical services as well. So for example, here we have HPV vaccine and hepatitis B vaccines. In the end state, we envision that every Singapore resident will have their own Medipay account that will tell them how much each medical service will cost and also help them automate payment for these services. Currently, we're starting with vaccine and screening services, but we hope to expand into chronic care, acute care, and hospital and polyclinic services. In terms of payment transparency, we're starting with government subsidies, but hope to go into Medisave and insurance claims, as well as credit card payments. Other exciting plans include bills and claims history, as well as a wallet for CHAS cards and insurance cards. So that's Medipay, bringing complete cost transparency to patients, where patients no longer have a palpable sense of fear walking into a GP clinic, not knowing how much it will cost, but instead they'll feel empowered to go for more preventive care services, knowing the full final bill, leading to a healthier SG. Thank you.
Thank you, Wan Ling. Hey, you go here. Can't wait to pay for my medical bills now.
Hey, toy. All right, we'll now welcome the teams to come up on stage. Next slide, please, to answer some questions that the audience might have for the products that were just presented. Any questions? Maybe I'll start off first. The first question I have for the CertSG team, I was just wondering, it feels like the use case can go beyond healthcare services. Are you thinking about doing more than just like helping doctors and hospitals run their certs?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first obvious one is the first aid certificates which expire and renew, and there isn't a centralized database to manage that. There's also many other occupations like real estate, law, accounting that have expiring certificates, so there's actually a lot of possible wide use cases for CertSG.
Any questions from the audience? At the back, like blue shirt? The suave man in a blue shirt.
Hi, thanks. I'd like to check with the CertSG team. Because I understand now you are using it to track the certificates of doctors, but other than certificates, will you all be able to track other parameters, for example, like their education background, the experiences that they're having, for example, where they're attached to, where they have rotated to, because this, in a way, are not certificates, but it's also part of the experience that could be useful for doctors to keep track of, or for the admins to keep track, so that they know, where the doctor might be rotated to next, or where their relevant experience have been.
We don't have plans to do that yet. What we found is that products often work better when there's a very specific problem that it solves and a very specific use case. So because of that, we want to make sure it's a platform that is not too cluttered. And so the information that we want is the certificates. When a doctor logs into the doctor platform, you will see, hey, here's my certs, and on top are the ones that are expiring sooner that really need attention. So that's the use case of it, and for admins also becomes very simple because you know this is a platform for certificates. If it's expiring, it's not. If you want to post somebody somewhere else, there are a lot of different factors to consider, and this is not a platform they envision to solve that particular problem.
Maybe one last question from the crowd. Oh, another suave young man. I guess it's a trend now.
Hi, my name is Benny. The question is posted to Highway. Understand that this is, in terms of requiring the documents, is triggered by the user. So are there any plans whereby it's actually triggered by a system instead, and then whereby the returns will actually go back to the system to populate in terms of the documents?
Yes, so in the last slide I did mention that one of our follow-up plans is to develop APIs so that your systems can use our APIs to directly generate the links, and the files will then be sent directly to your system. So Highway is just a tool in between to facilitate that process.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess I can ask the last question for Medipay. Given that the payment information is on the screen, right, do you think people will start doing price comparisons, like between clinics, try and get the best price for a particular service? Because I can imagine my dad doing it.
Yeah, definitely. I can imagine myself doing it. It's definitely something that will happen, but what we're hoping is that we're giving this information and making it transparent to the users themselves, and from there they can, I guess, choose which GP clinic to go to depending on their priorities. For example, if they're more financially strapped, then maybe they'll choose to go for a cheaper one, but there are also other considerations, for example, location to your house, and maybe you like this doctor at this clinic, so you choose to go to this other clinic instead. So yeah.
Thank you, thank you. All right, thank you so much. Round of applause for the groups that just came up.
Thank you, everyone. So next up, sorry. So this part of the script is my favorite. So we have Paws Together. It is the perfect solution for animal rescuers and vets who are on the hunt for an animal's ownership information. So with just a simple swipe of a microchip, Paws Together will have you barking up the right tree in no time. So let us introduce Wenjia and Rainer.
This is Kate, an imported Maine Coon cat abused and abandoned at industrial park. Even though Kate had a microchip, her original owners were never found or prosecuted.
Kate is just one of the many victims of animal abuse in Singapore. Today, we are here to advocate for animal welfare and share how technology can make a difference. Now, a microchip is a tiny device that is harmlessly implanted into a pet. It is permanent, and scanning it reveals an ID number. Now, ideally, we have one microchip registry, and any stray can be scanned, identified, and reunited with its owner easily. In reality, that is not the case in Singapore. So for Kate's rescuer, they had to call not one, but multiple registries across Singapore because no one knew who Kate was registered with. And not all of them responded to the calls, and some who did responded only 2 to 3 months later. Ultimately, Kate's owner was never found.
The reality is that despite collecting microchip data from dogs and cats, this information is not accessible in a timely manner when it matters. This is a problem because animal rescuers often cannot afford to wait when they are helping abandoned or injured animals. So we actually spoke to AVS to try and understand why, and a key concern that they highlighted was user privacy. So this is what our team wants to solve, and we believe that there can be a middle ground. This is Paws Together, our prototype for a centralized microchip database where owners, vets, and animal welfare groups can register their furry friends. To find a pet, simply enter their microchip ID and you can see their basic details such as the name, species, breed, and more. And if the owner has consented, you can see their basic contact details. So reuniting them with their lost pet is a breeze. So if the owner has not actually agreed to revealing their personal details, the user can instead contact the vet where the pet was registered at. So this ensures that the users are also not left at a dead end. Registering your pet is easy and straightforward. You just have to provide their basic details as well as optionally your contact details and your consent. So we have actually tested this out with a few vets and animal rescuers, and they have expressed that this would be a very useful solution, especially when integrated with AVS's existing database.
That being said, what we are doing here is only solving a tiny piece of the problem. A registry would not be effective without data, and the fact is we are missing a big chunk of it. Only an estimated 27% of cats are microchipped. Now, we have strong evidence that microchipping and licensing makes a difference and promotes accountable pet ownership, since there has been a decrease in the number of dogs SPCA has to take in over the years. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for other pets. So what our team believes is that while technology like Paws Together can improve access to information, what we truly need are stronger legislation so that we can promote animal welfare in Singapore. Thank you.
All right, next up, I have a question for you. Have you ever had problems keeping track of your expensive $1 million military equipment? Neither have I. Our next product, Armoury, is here to make managing your equipment a seamless experience. If it's good enough for the SCDF, it's good enough for you. No more cluttered list of forgotten gear, just a seamless, stress-free system. All right, RJ and Ben, please.
Enough.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ben, and on the stage with me today is AJ. And we had the pleasure of teaming up with SCDF for Hackathon this year to build Armoury, a simple but powerful app to do vehicle equipment checks. So every day across Singapore, over 400 emergency vehicles are manually checked from top to bottom. And you can see that there's multiple firefighters here working on this check. That's more than 2,800 checks per week and 140,000 checks per year. And today, those checks are done largely using pen and paper. And this creates problems where the paper can get wet or dirty, the illegible handwriting, and only one person being able to record something at a time. But the bigger issue is that that data we're recording from those thousands of checks per year isn't being used to its fullest potential. Armoury helps solve this problem by digitalizing the equipment check process. On the back end, admins are able to create custom checklists using our content management system. And then on the front end, after logging into the application, Firefighters are able to see the equipment status of the vehicles within their station. They're able to dive a little bit deeper to understand exactly what's going on with that particular vehicle. And then, once the check is started, multiple firefighters can submit portions of the check simultaneously, which enables them to move through the check a lot quicker. And when the check is submitted, we record who submitted that portion and update that status in real time. After the check is completed, that real-time data can be used to make decisions about operational readiness, maintenance, and procurement at the station and HQ level.
Thanks, Ben. So as you can see, with Armoury, we're putting data to use, and we're helping streamline the workflows, right? For this scope of hackathon, we have worked with SCDF, who are very great, and they have helped us throughout this hackathon. But really, there's a bigger use case to it, right? So we believe with Armoury, we're able to easily scale up and roll out to agencies with such similar workflows on a day-to-day basis. So this includes the police force, the SAF, RSAF, and RSN, who conduct such checks on a daily basis, right? Beyond just vehicles and equipment, we can be using Armoury as such use cases. Your SOP playbooks, your building inspections, your safety checks. These are just some examples of Armoury use cases. Now, I'd like to take some time to thank our team who have been helping build Armoury, going down as early as 7:45 a.m. to the fire stations to test. Our most important people, the domain experts who has been supporting us, guiding us throughout this hackathon journey, as well as the Alexandra and Marina Bay Fire Station for trying our alpha app. I still have some time, so ladies and gentlemen, if I could just ask you to take up your phone, launch your camera app, and take a picture of our works. This is what Armoury can help you do, all right? I still have some time, all right, and I'll end. Next slide. Thank you.
Thank you, RJ and Ben. Where's the clicker? So, the next one. All right. So this solution is for your officer out there spending hours trying to set up appointments. Enter CalSG, the solution that makes sharing availability and booking time slots a piece of cake. So introducing Antarich.
Testing. Hello, everyone. This is the CalSG team, arranged in order of how much I like them. Nah, I'm kidding, it's alphabetical. Okay. A few months ago, there was an unusual spike in errors on Form SG. They were caused by this form, which is a registration form for an exam. The error in question was drop-down validation failed. And this happens when someone submits an answer to a drop-down field, but their answer isn't actually one of the options presented in the drop-down. So how does this happen? It turns out that as the exam time slots were filling up, the officer in charge was manually tracking which slots were full and removing them from the form in real time. And they do this for a full week every single month for hundreds of form submissions. And it turns out they're not alone. Over the past few weeks, we've talked to hospital staff, consular staff and embassies, as well as teachers, all of whom are using this manual workflow to manage their appointments. And these are just the small use cases. At the agency level, the issue is duplication. A quick Google search tells you that there are many government appointment booking sites. All these agencies are spending the resources to maintain their own custom systems, all of which have a lot of functionality in common. So we asked these officers why they aren't using existing solutions like Calendly. Some cited paywalls for basic features like form building. Others needed SingPass authentication. But most importantly, since they were collecting personal information, they wanted the legitimacy associated with the gov.sg domain, so people would trust their links. So we built CalSG. And to see how it works, imagine that I want all of you to book an appointment with the CalSG team for a personal walkthrough of our features. Here's what I would do. Upon logging into CalSG, I would create an event, give it a title and description, and save it. Next, I'll add some custom fields to my appointment form. So I'll ask for your name, as well as more information about your use case. Next, I'll indicate my availability. Let's say I want to do weekday afternoons for the next 2 weeks. I'll keep the 30-minute slot duration and 1 attendee per session, but I'll change the date range to today to 2 weeks from now. For my time availability, I'll indicate 1 to 4 p.m. on weekdays and disable weekends, because public officers don't work on weekends, right? Right? And lastly, I'll customize the email that gets sent to you when you book. So this is the form that you see when you want an appointment. You can pick a date and a time, fill out the form, and easy peasy, your appointment is confirmed, the invitation is in your inbox, and I, as the admin, can view your response in the CalSG dashboard. So who is using this? Currently, we have teams in ICA using it for leave management, as well as in SyncStat for interview scheduling. We also have a long list of agencies who are interested. If you want to join this list, feel free to use CalSG right now to book an appointment with our team. Thank you.
Thank you, NT, for the presentation. We'll now invite the groups back up on stage to answer any questions that people might have.
Right, so for the virtual audience, don't forget the form is still up, so please send your questions in.
Next slide.
Maybe I'll start the first question. So for the Armoury team, right, could you share like what's your experience like, visiting the SCDF stations?
I personally loved it because I don't know, growing up as a kid, you always see firefighters, policemen, those types of folks, and you look up to them. And so it was really cool to spend time at the fire station to learn directly from the firefighters and have them show us around the equipment. So it was really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
Just to add on, I think it's also a newfound respect, looking at the men's conducting their checks thoroughly, and I'm sure Armoury can help them.
A question from the audience.
One question for the CalSG people. Have you considered solving internal calendar meetings when we are trying to get a whole bunch of people together? Or is it too complex for you to solve?
No, absolutely, we've considered it. It's sort of an adjacent problem space. This is the idea of basically coordinating when everyone can make it for a particular meeting, right? It's definitely a problem we want to solve as well. Currently, we're focusing on this public-facing appointment booking site, but we'll probably have additional functionality in future for meeting polls, which is what we're calling this idea of finding a common time.
Nice. Any questions from the crowd? Oh, we have a question from the lady at the end. Oh, Tim first, and then the lady at the end.
Sorry. For Paws Together, do you have a mechanism to retrieve the tag ID? Context of my question is I have 3 cats. I think I know where their paperwork is for chips, but I'm not sure. And so how would I use your system if I don't even have the number?
I see. So currently with how the pet microchips are, unfortunately you can't scan them with a phone. You'll have to bring them to a vet or animal welfare group. So they will actually have the scanner, which harmlessly just scans their microchip, and then you can use that to actually query the system.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have a question at the end.
Hi, we are from the Sync Health Group. So we have been using FormSG all this while. So I'm curious, how is the CalSG more superior than FormSG?
So it's not meant to be a competitor. For transparency, I've worked on FormSG as an engineer and a PM for the past 3 years, so I don't want to destroy my own product. If you use FormSG for this appointment booking use case, the idea is that you have a limited capacity per slot. Right? So let's say for these 30 minutes, only 2 people can sign up. In FormSG, there isn't a way to say that only 2 people can submit this particular time slot for this form. So you have to actually manually track, have 2 people submitted? I have to download my responses and check. And then if 2 people have submitted, then I have to remove that slot from the form manually. So this is the manual process that we're trying to save here. What CalSG does differently is that you can specify a capacity per slot, and once that capacity is filled up, it's automatically removed, so no one can actually book that slot again. Which is why it's sort of similar to FormSG, but optimized for this appointment booking use case. Does that answer your question?
So my next question is, moving forward, should we use CalSG or FormSG?
Well, it depends on your use case, but if you have this limited capacity use case, please feel free to use that just now, the QR code, to get in touch with us, and we'll open up CalSG for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice. All right, thank you very much. Thank you to the groups. There's another. One more question. One last question.
It's related to the CalSG, so I'm just wondering, will the team be building an API so that we can link it to our other systems?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think one of the big things about, just now I put a bunch of appointment booking systems on the screen. And I think the reason why agencies build their own custom systems is to have integrations into their existing sort of systems, right? For example, when someone shows up, you need to see their data on a screen, something like that, right? And so I think building a webhook functionality to actually update a downstream system in real time when an appointment is booked is pretty important. So we'll be working on that in the future as well. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Thanks so much for the presentation. Maybe I should put a microchip in Jackson's pocket so I can track Jackson. Okay, while we're waiting for the next group to get ready, we have our colleague Clement who will come up and share with us about the OGP Superlatives voting. Clement, please. Clement? Microchip, can someone scan? Oh, he's here, he's here.
Hey, so sorry. Hi, so I hope everybody has been enjoying the stage presentation so far. So right now, I would like everybody to take a look at these two important links before we continue on with the exciting presentations to come later. So if anybody has developed an interest in any of the products you've seen today, be it outside or inside on stage, please scan the link on the left to follow up with, to send an inquiry to follow up with these product teams. And if you haven't voted for your team for the Superlative Awards, please scan the QR code on the right and vote for the teams. So this year, the Superlative Awards will come in the form of digital credentials on the coattail of a new OGP pet called the Badge Badger. So Badges is a hackathon project by Ian, Kare, Kishore, Chilling, Rachel, and Kiwei, and they are digital credentials that anyone in OGP can earn and keep as awards, certification of mastery in a skill, or to celebrate accomplishments on the team. Today, we will unveil 9 hackathon superlative badges for the taking, and let's first welcome the Flying Badge Badger. Give us a second.
It's flown in.
It's flown in already. Well, anyways, these are the 9 hackathon superlative awards for this hackathon, and stay tuned to find out more about what these badges are and which teams will win this later. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone's counting, the last one is Uncle Auntie Killer that's not on the screen. Yeah. All right. Next up, the next group that will be sharing with us here today is Checkpoint. Checkpoint is... Never mind, I'll let Wei Jie and Justin explain what Checkpoint is. Wei Jie and Justin, please.
Check slides. Okay, good. Well, it's working. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Justin from OGP.
I'm Wei Jie from MFA.
And together with the rest of the Checkpoint team, we've been working on automating approval routing flows. All across the government, we see the same patterns of approval routing happening. First, someone submits a form to an Officer A for verification. Then, based on the form content, Officer A has to send manually the email to Officer B or C for approval. They then send it to further approvers later on. Notice that in this flow, all of these officers have to know the routing rules for every step, and they have to know it for every process in the organization, and they have to send these emails manually. Not only that, these email chains often contain many back and forth conversations between these officers, making email chains difficult to follow and confusing to use for status tracking purposes.
Exactly. So I'm currently serving in the embassy in Phnom Penh, and I'm facing this issue right now too. So now when we have visitors visiting the embassy staff will register them on FreestuffSG and book a room along the way at the same time. Well, while this is all fine and good, the problem comes after submitting the form. And that's when I come in. So this is the part where I will start to manually route all the responses to the various stakeholders. So when I have a visitor, I will send it to the security team. When someone's booking a room, I will send it to the building management team. So the problem here, yeah, it goes on and on and on and on and on. But with Checkpoint, it helps me to automate all of these processes. So for example, if there's a visitor, I can route it directly to the security. If there's a room booking, I can have it routed to the building management team. And the best part here is, it's all a one-time setup.
That's right. Checkpoint can already help public officers automate their approval flows. But Wei Jie, I submitted my application 1 month ago. What's happening? I want to know.
I don't know either. You know, every time when I see all these emails, where the email? Email. Okay. It always frustrates me, you know. So now with Checkpoint, not only does it help the administrators, it also helps the end users. So when someone submits a fault, an email is sent to them so that they can help themselves and check the statuses on their own. So all the admin needs to do is to reply approved through the email, and the user can see the updates themselves. And the best part is the admins also get a dashboard for them to view and review all these cases.
In its current iteration, Checkpoint can already help public officers to automate their approval flows, but we're not stopping there. In the near future, you can look towards features such as email templates, which will enable workflow designers to customize the email sent at each step, more logic types including numbers and decimals for calculation capabilities, as well as a visual builder to help workflow designers to have better state management and status tracking. We are also looking to many features such as collaboration, approvals based on submission automatically, support for FreestuffSG storage mode, incoming webhooks, as well as adding discussion notes directly on Checkpoint to avoid email chains altogether. We've already onboarded pilot users from these agencies, and we look forward to onboarding yours. Thank you.
Thank you to the Checkpoint team. So next up, we have Free Stuff. Right, are you tired of your house looking like a hoarder's paradise? Say hello to FreestuffSG, the platform where giving and receiving items is as easy as pie. No more clutter and waste, just good quality items finding new home. Hong, please.
Hello, it's me again. Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be sharing our team's project, Free Stuff. And this is what it is. Basically, it's a website where you can list stuff that you're willing to give away for free, and people can see things that other people are giving away for free. To use it, it's pretty straightforward. You sign in, and we use SyncPass to sign in. And don't worry, we're using the SGRD protocol SyncPass, so it's all privacy preserving and everything like that. All this does is verify that you're a real human being. So this helps weed out a lot of the spammers and scammers from the system. After you signed in, you basically just list the stuff that you want to post. But here's the difference. For the first 48 hours after you've posted an item on Free Stuff, it is only available and only visible to charities. So here's the basic idea is that when you post something on Free Stuff, it's first visible to charities. After 48 hours, it becomes visible to the general public. And after an entire month, if no one takes it and no one wants it, we then clear it away from the platform. We message the user and let them know that, hey, you can safely throw away all the junk that you have in your house. So this is why we're doing it. Basically that everyone has a lot of stuff piling up in their homes, and I think it's quite a common problem, even quite a common problem across Singapore. But there's a lot of anxiety about how to deal with this. The easiest thing to do is to keep it, right? You just leave it lying in the corner. If you can muster psychological energy to do it, you do a spring cleaning and you go throw things away. If you can be bothered, you go list stuff for free, you go distribute things to the neighborhood and figure out who needs it. If you're really, really motivated, you get a car and haul everything on the weekend, you go find a donation area and drop everything off. But really the hardest thing to do is to actually find someone who actually needs it and just donate it straight to them. But this is also the opposite in terms of, as a society, what we want out of all this, right? We actually don't want people to be keeping all the trash in their homes. Throwing stuff away, while better than just hoarding it, still is a bit wasteful. Giving it to someone is good. Giving it to charities is better. But actually, even for the charities, even for Salvation Army and things like that, where they get large amounts of donations, there's a lot of logistics and complication in sorting through all that stuff, figuring out who needs it, emailing back and forth, and so actually they prefer if it could just go straight to the people who needed it directly. And so yeah, that's why we're trying to go with this flow. The idea is that we're trying to make the most desirable thing the easiest. That you post on a platform, the people who need it the most get first dibs. If none of them want it, it goes to the general public. If no one there wants it, then you now have you've alleviated the guilt of throwing things away that that, well, no one in Singapore wants whatever you're keeping. You don't have to worry about it being too valuable. You can go clear it out. So yeah, that's where we're at. We've done our research, we've got a prototype running, and right now we're starting some pilots with a bunch of social service agencies. The idea is that they just sign on with SyncPass like everyone else, but we mark their accounts as special charity accounts. And for people here who want to list all the stuff they want to give away, please do try it out. And then we're going to pilot it with a bunch of them to see whether it is useful. So yeah, that's Free Stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Hong.
I'm still trying to find my PS5 on FreestuffSG.com. Not so lucky. Have you ever wished that, okay, next product. Have you ever wished that you could move seamlessly between OGP products without having to download and upload, download and upload, download and upload? Introducing the handyman of the OGP world, Plumber is here to automate your workflows across OGP products and make your life easier. Introducing the chairman of the OGP Wellness Club, Ian, please.
So OGP has built many useful products across the years. I'm sure most of you are familiar with at least some of them here. And public officers incorporate multiple tools in their everyday workflows. But what we realize is that majority of the time is actually spent moving data from one application to the other. So let's take a look at an example MOE workflow, which is the post-secondary education account, where students can apply to use this money from this account for certain claims. So the current flow is that when an applicant submits a form, the public officer has to manually copy and paste the form response from his email to his Excel, then look up the PSA database for his outstanding balance, go back to the Excel, filter it based on eligibility, and then upload it to Postman to send an email. So this whole process takes about 15 minutes. But imagine if this public officer does this once a day. He'll be taking more than 90 man-hours a year, and then you multiply by the number of public officers in the workforce and their respective workflows. Immense amount of time is actually spent just moving data here and there. So this is where Plumber comes in. We help you streamline your workflows and automate your pipelines. So let's take a look at how Plumber can satisfy this workflow. First, we log into Plumber, click on Create a New Pipe, hook up your existing FormSG form, set up an automated API caller such that every time a new form is submitted, it will automatically fetch your account balance from PSA database. Next, we have the Vault integration. So Vault Workspace is kind of like Google Sheets for the government. As the form responses stream in, it will be auto-populated on your dashboard. And lastly, we have Postman to automatically send out your email responses. So as a public officer, what if right now I only want to send out email responses to those who are eligible? I can simply head on to Plumber. As you can see, the 4 steps have already been set up. So what I want to do now is to insert a new step before the Postman block. I'll click on Logic. I'll select the if statement. So right now, I want to check that the claim amount is less or equal to your outstanding balance in the person's account. I'll just select the relevant fields from the drop-down menu, click on Continue, and now your entire pipeline is set up without writing a single line of code. The public officer can simply sit back, relax, and let Plumber handle the dirty work for you. So automating all these flows will no longer be a pipe dream. No more copying and pasting of data, no more human error. Plumber will soon integrate with the rest of the government products both inside and outside OGP. And you can even test it out at plumber.gov.sg now. And together, let's unclog the pipes of the government. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Right, Kenneth, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Have you
Yes,
ever
Jackson.
had problems trying to load test your product?
Yes, Jackson.
I think this next product is for you. Plague helps you to conduct load testing easily and nip performance problems in the bud before they become a full-blown pandemic. So a round of applause for our final presenter, Ivan. Ivan, please.
Thank you. So hi everyone, I'm Ivan, and today I'm going to be talking about Plague, which is a managed, easy-to-use load test service. So imagine when you're in a product team and you're ready to, you finished developing and you're excited to launch your product. But the next question is, are you ready to launch it? Oftentimes, it's not that simple because there are many underlying questions whether your product is ready to launch or not. And these are difficult questions to answer. And the best way to do so is to do a load test. So load testing is crucial, but it's often overlooked due to complexity. If you ask any hackathon team here if they did a load test, common answer will be no, because they're busy building features. And it's not that easy. You have to do a whole bunch of steps, like replicating the infra, deciding on what to test, and all that. And what Plague comes in to do is to do all of that for you. So this is our goal, is to make load testing simple. We want it to be easy to set up and easy to interpret the results. So here's what it looks like. This is our Plague dashboard. You can manage, list your load tests, and to create one, you simply click the Create button. There's 3 inputs, the load test name, the target endpoint, and an input CSV, where you put in your request parameters. And what Plague will do is to swarm your target endpoint with loads of requests, and that's it. You notice that you didn't have to specify how much you want to test, because that's also done for you. We have tailored 5 levels of testing with our experience of building different kinds of OGP products, different size products.
And from your hackathon beta products to your nationwide campaign kind of products like your CDC vouchers, it will all get tested similarly in a progressive manner from 1 to 5, and you can see the result on where your product stands. So here's what the results page looks like. You have a summary, you have some request statistics, response time stats, errors if any, and also some graphs for you to see how your load test fared, your system fared during the test. And one thing to highlight here is this summary. So at a glance, you're immediately able to identify what kind of launch size your product is ready for. So for example, this one, it says it can handle about a few thousand concurrent users, but also when it struggles, like when it hits 10,000. And so some future enhancements for us is that currently we scoped it to a single API endpoint because we want it to be quick and easy. But we also recognize that it's, a system has multiple endpoints and we want to support that. And also CI integration, so whenever like you add a new feature and do a pull request, currently we always do correctness checks, security checks. But what's also crucial is that we know that the new feature we implement can handle the same amount of load or even more. And that's all in a nutshell. So we want to increase the system reliability of government products. And let's all use plagues so that our products don't get plagued. Thank you.
So thank you to all the teams that has presented so far. We have come to the Q&A for the last segment of the presentation. So same as before, do ask your burning questions so that we have some filler times to prepare for the last few parts of the hackathon event. And then also do be reminded that to vote for your favorite products for the Superlative prizes, and we will close the voting at 4:55 p.m.
No, maybe like 5 o'clock. Now it's 4:48. Anyway, we'll give you another 5 minutes to do your voting. If you want to find the QR code, you can flip around the lanyard that you have. It's a right QR code. You can scan it and do your voting. Okay, any questions from the audience?
Yeah, hi, I have a question for the Plague team. I saw that it hooks back into GitHub's automated runner. So I'm just wondering if the concept is to run a load test for every pull request that's like being filed against the system.
Yeah, good question. So that is like a future enhancement kind of feature that we want to implement. It's not implemented yet, but yeah, it really depends on the system and how we want to test it. Because what we do is that we test per endpoint. So depending on if you know like a feature is built and we don't add an endpoint for that feature, then it wouldn't be testing that. But we will think about how we want to integrate that further down the road. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Next person.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for the presentations. I'm Theo. I'm quite fascinated by the FreestuffSG. I think what you guys are doing are very important. Just wondering if you guys have any like protection mechanisms to prevent people from kind of taking the stuff and just reselling them again. Thank you.
So this is actually something we talked about with the team, that actually we actively want to encourage people to take and resell stuff. Specifically, so this is something where I think it's something that goes on Carousel a little bit, where like Carousel doesn't want people to resell things. So for us, if the charities take and resell things, we think that's perfectly fine. We think that actually should be encouraged because there's all this stuff that's sitting around that's not being used. The idea for the public, if they want to do so, that is sort of debatable whether or not you want to allow that. I think this is just something, I think this is just an expectation we want to set on a platform, which is if you want, like, you're giving something away, if the charities can't find value in it and there is some random person who knows some market, someone who knows how to get, I think that is, while obviously you wish you knew that information, that actually is the right thing that they can monetize and find some value in the right person for this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, I have a question about free stuff as well. Looks very interesting. I was just wondering, is it possible to build in an option for logistics? Because I found it very interesting that you had easiest to harder the scaling. And I suspect that many people want to do the right thing and donate, but usually it's a question of cost as well as arranging for someone to take your bulky items. And the charities also, we don't really want to put the burden on them to pay for or arrange for logistics. So is there a way to make it seamless and to say, okay, someone has accepted my item and I can arrange for it, I can even pay for it as the donor?
Yeah, so, okay, I'm kind of finally I get the chance to talk. So basically,
Yeah, so basically, right, so one of the things we are trying to do is to put that collection method upfront, right? So the charities can actually like potentially filter through and see whether there's methods for self-collection, delivery, and so on, so they can know that information upfront, right? Separately, we are talking to like logistic companies and see whether they're willing to do CSR with us. So that's potentially a way we can work with them as well, yeah.
We have enough time for like 2 more questions. Anyone? Okay, we have enough time for 1 more question. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. All right, gentle reminder that superlative voting is closing because we have to prepare. Okay, next up, we will invite Sean to introduce with, to basically come on stage and share with us how you can continue engaging OGP after the hackathon. The work doesn't stop here, obviously, and we want to continue building good products for the public. Sean, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Sean. I'm from the partnerships team here at Open Government Products. Now at the start of January, we wanted to ask ourselves, what are the real problems that our citizens and public officers face? We had over 20 agencies pitch to us their problem statements, telling us what they think technology could be used to improve their workflows and make them more effective to deliver impact for public good. Now that wasn't enough for us. We went down to the ground, trying to understand the lived experiences of our users, to suss out the unknown unknowns, and speaking to a myriad and multitude of stakeholders across the spectrum so that we can problematize the issues properly and deliver a good solution. The team iterated and iterated, augmenting their product so that it's fit for use and able to integrate with the rest of the OGP product suite in a cost-efficient manner. And that is what we have today. Now, all of this would not have been possible without the partnerships of all of our agencies. This year, we collaborated with over 48 agencies and 240 public servants. Putting together Hack for Public Good is no easy feat, and we would like to thank all of you who has been involved in this process from the seed, build, and launch phases to the hackathon committee, our participants, and finally, all of you who are here today. A very big thank you. Now the journey doesn't stop here. In fact, it's just the beginning. OGP conducts a myriad of activities across the year, such as sprints, which allows users to understand how the OGP product suite can help to augment their workflows and make their lives better. In fact, next week, we're about to hold the second iteration of our health tech sprint, which focuses on healthcare users. We also conduct workshops and courses, such as Product Up and Design Up, which teaches product thinking and design thinking to leaders who wish to understand technology better. We also conduct courses on corporate practices that allow us as an organization to be a high-performing organization. And we have partnered with entities such as the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy to run all of this. Now, if you would like to collaborate with us, please do fill in the Form SG on the screen or at the back of your lanyard, or write to us at partnerships@open.gov.sg. If you're a citizen, please do follow us on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and come journey together with us to build tech for public good. With that, we thank all of you once again for supporting us in our journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Right, so I have just received the results for the Superlative prizes. Are you guys excited? Okay, never mind. So we will now announce them. So can we invite Minister Josephine to come on stage and give out the prizes, please? Yeah, correct. Thank you. stand here. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, you know, I was trying to gun for the Uncle Auntie Killer Award, but only product teams can win. So, I guess I'm out. But it's okay. Next year. All right. We'll now introduce the first winner of today, biggest money saver piggy bank. The winner of this product is Armoury.
Do you want to show the pig? The next one. Do you want to show the pig? No.
Wait. Thank you.
Right, the next award is Touch My Heart. Yeah, it's Touch My Heart. And the winner is
Paws Together. Put your paws together to give them a round of applause.
Here, don't run.
All right, the third award of today is Break the Internet. That's the Wi-Fi broken logo. And the winner is FreestuffSG. Okay. We'll announce the next winner, and then the the Touch My Heart will come down afterwards. Yeah. The other groups can also feel free to start streaming down, especially the ones in the exhibition hall. How about that?
Okay, right. So the next team is Best Name, and the winner is the next prize. Sorry, it's Pear. Hey, where's Pear? What?
Thank you so much. I told Moses I wanted to name it Chat OGP, but he said no. Pear's a better name. Okay. All right. Next up, the most eye-catching award. Okay. The winner is Build Your Own Singaporean. Woo! Upstairs also. Okay. We'll do the one after. Folk is here. Okay, we do folk. So if you guys are curious, type folk.sg and you'll go to a very interesting website. Yeah. I mean, it's just get to know more people. Didn't came out wrong.
Richard, can you please come down?
Round of applause for the FreestuffSG team. I must say the copy edits for FreestuffSG is really some of the best I've seen. Yeah, it's hard rendering.
The next one is the most Singaporean award, and the winner is Free Stuff. Hey, woo! Go, just go. Oh no, I lost already. Oh.
Big brain.
Wow, Pear wins so many times.
Yeah.
I want to take picture also.
I take out their duplicate vote, they still win.
Oh.
Free Stuff is a clear winner. Okay, I know that the Build Your Own Singaporean team is here, so you guys can come forward. Eye-catching. All right, next up we have the Most Big Brain Award. The grammar here is amazing. The winner is Pear.
Hey, you should take this.
It's like the Oscars, multiple award winning.
So, thank you, Moses. So the next one we have is the biggest time saver. And the winner is Pear. Pear, Moses, come up. Oh, this guy, give some chance, can or not? No. That's one, Moses.
All right, next up we have the biggest award of tonight, Uncle Auntie Killer. No, not me. The winner is FreestuffSG.
Woo!
Also an easy win.
Right, thank you all to the teams for your effort to building the product and the presentation. I'm sure the whole of government will benefit from your hard work. So we will now invite Minister Josephine to give a closing speech. Minister, please. Oh, yes.
Well, good evening, everyone. First of all, a declaration. Nothing that I say has been improved with the help of Pear or ChatGPT. So it definitely can be a lot better than what it is, right? Yeah. I'm very happy to be here this evening together with SM Teo, Minister Vivian, MOS Low Yen Ling, to hear your presentations and see your good work. A couple of months ago, we put out an effort called Tech for Public Good. And this was to let people know that we are still hiring. And we have something across the whole of government, you know, like 700, at least 700 tech roles that remain open. And what I can share with you is that since November, when the word went out, even though it was the holiday season, the response was really very encouraging. We've had more than 1,000 people respond to these, calls and get in touch with us. And actually, we've had more than 600, put their hand up, to attend sessions that we've organized to talk more about the specific roles that we have, as well as the hiring process. And out of this session, just for OGP alone, it's been a real boost. What's happened is that applications for OGP positions went up, actually more than doubled. And in terms of the actual positions that we were able to offer, it's gone up by more than 50%. So, there are people out there who are inspired by this message. We named this effort Tech for Public Good because we are looking for people who are not just exceptionally good at what they do, but they also have an interest to apply their energies towards a public purpose. In the words of Hong, when he spoke earlier this evening, we're looking for people who believe that there can be a better Singapore, and they want to be part of that process of creating a better Singapore. We are seeking specifically people with passion, creativity, and a collaborative spirit, very much like you, who are all part of Hack for Public Good. As problem solvers, you may have been inspired by something that was said by Arthur C. Clarke, the author of 2001, A Space Odyssey. He had said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And yet, you and I know only too well that our own experiences with technology is often far from magical. This is a challenge and opportunity for OGP. And that is why I am very glad to see from your presentations that you've put people at the heart and so at the center of everything that you do. It is at the heart of everything that you do. You're thinking about problems from their perspective. You're trying to solve the problems from their perspective. And you are not trying to make people work for technology. Instead, you want to make technology work for people. And that is truly what we should be aiming for. In digital technologies, however, I think there are at least 3 aspects that we still have to pay greater attention to. The first is the continued need for digital inclusion. Now, when I meet with my international counterparts, they're often very impressed and honestly a little jealous of what we have in Singapore. Digital access that actually has reached almost all households, near universal. Broadband access by 99% of households, computer access for 92% of households. They can only wish, that they can get there. But we ourselves have set a higher bar. We ourselves have acknowledged that digital access on its own does not equate to digital inclusion. Just because people can go online, just because people can access digital tools, doesn't mean they will actually use them. It has to be something that they find convenient. It has to be something that brings benefits to them. And in fact, I think there are some products that came out of this hackathon that address this question of benefits quite clearly. One that we are very familiar with is RedeemSG. It came out of Hack for Public Good, I believe, 2020, just in time for us to think about how it can be applied towards the rollout of the CDC voucher scheme. And since then, it has been used many times over to redeem something like $800 million worth of CDC vouchers. It's a very significant technology engine that powers this important program that helps citizens. Today's presentation, you see other promising products. For example, Medipay, relieving a pain point for people when they think about the cost of visiting a GP, and are perhaps a little bit too concerned about how much they may have to pay for preventive health care. This is another very practical benefit that can help citizens use technology to benefit themselves. So that is something that I think is really very good. It is how we are making sure that the benefits are able to translate into people's daily lives and in this process promote digital inclusion. The second aspect is on trust and safety. And I think in today's context, we all are a little bit, on the one hand, interested to use digital technologies, on the other hand, a little bit concerned about, what it means for us, in terms of the safety. So products like Safeguard and Scam Shield, which has been downloaded about 500,000 times and helped to block 1 million plus SMSs. These are really very good. Scam Shield, I believe, also came out of Hack for Public Good, also 2020. And besides Scam Shield, we heard from the award-winning Armoury. You know, hopefully, if and when we would ever need SCDF's services, this scheme is what helps us ensure that the equipment never fails on us. The equipment is never missing where it needs to be. So it's also a very important thing. The third aspect I would just add is something that is often overlooked, but equally important. It has to do with the fact that technology has made our world smaller, and yet it can make us still feel disconnected from even our nearest neighbor. So the question is, can we turn it around and say, how about using technology to promote a sense of community? Can we do that? And I think that there are some good initiatives out there, including those from Hack from Public Good. I believe last year we had something called Who's Your Kaki? That complements another app that has been developed called My Digital Kampong. And actually, FreestuffSG is an example of how you can promote a sense of community. And I really, really loved BYOS. Build your own Singaporean icons, you know, things that we can relate to. You know, uncle in pants, you know, not much up there. I mean, follically challenged. Is there such an expression? But there you are, a real expression of what it means to be Singaporean, even in the digital tools and services that we use. So, in summary, Hack for Public Good, 6th edition since 2018. When you first started, just a few projects to go on, and now at least 30 projects that are in, you know, have been set in motion to the extent that you can actually organize a showcase like that. And if we then ask ourselves what has been the true benefit of this, I think it is the fact that it has become part and parcel of the way you work. It is so core to your philosophy as an organization. And it is permeating the whole of government, putting our citizens' interests, needs, perspectives, even as we develop digital tools, digital services to better enable them. And more importantly, I look at the audience today, the physical audience, and I believe that online we have probably another 1,000 people who have signed up to join us. I see officers from the SCDF, from Anti-Scam Command, from NLB. I heard that there was officers from either MOH or SingHealth. I think it is also remarkable how this approach has been able to bring together different agencies from across the whole of government to collaborate, to innovate together, to learn about how digital, as well as other kinds of technology, can truly transform the way we deliver public services. So I want to congratulate all of our colleagues here, those within OGP, as well as our agencies from across the whole of government for joining hands in this effort. And let us continue to hack for public good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. I believe I speak on behalf of the organization to say that we're very grateful for your leadership and support in making sure that the magic continues to happen. Next up, we'll be taking a group photo. So if the presenters in front, maybe you can move to the third and second row, and then we'll have a photographer here, on stage to help, to take a picture. Touch up your hair, your glasses. Lanyard. Jackson, you want to go down? So your face will be taken this time.
Yeah, okay. want to take picture.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for coming today. We've come to the end of our program, but please remain seated as we invite our guests of honors to depart the auditorium. Please take note that booths are still on, so if you guys are curious about all the other products that we built, this is only half of them. The remaining half is out there. Yeah. Thank you all so much.
Leonard, there's still food and drinks, right? There's still food and drinks outside, so you all can have it as well. Thank you.
Okay, now we can bust out the. Just kidding. There's a photo booth that's out there. So if you guys haven't had a chance to take pictures with your teams, with the participants, feel free to go out there and take pictures at the photo booth. Thank you all so much for coming today. Thank you so much for participating. Don't forget to keep engaging with OGP.
Thanks. Yay.